Okay, and there we go. So we got everything set up and ready to rock and roll here. So you guys probably know the drill by now. If you've been on my webinars before, then you know how we roll. Okay, so you know that we start off with typically, traditionally, a quick sound check. So if you guys can let me know right away if that audio is coming through loud and clear. Give me a yay or nay in the chat box in your GoToWebinar chat box there. So let me know if I need to make any modifications to that sound. Are we loud and clear? So I'm getting a bunch of yeses. Yes, I can hear you. Excellent. Good. 10-4. All right. So glad to see all of you here. So, all right. So, man, we got people from all over. Looks like even a couple, 3 different countries here listed so far. So, all right. Awesome. So we got some really cool stuff to share with you here today. And once again, want to thank you for taking time out of what I know has got to be your busy schedule to join me. Um, as you well know, I like to pack these sessions with a whole lot of information, a whole lot of usable information. So we're going to be focusing primarily on Facebook lead generation here today. All right. And how many guys here know the boom rule by now? And how many of you guys are wondering what the heck is the boom rule? You know, I got to ask it. That's my tradition. So, Sue's the first one to ask, what's the boom rule? All right, so we got some newbies here for my webinars. The boom rule is quite fun, and that is that as I'm going along and teaching, since these are unscripted live sessions, all right, your feedback is what helps dictates where I spend the most of my time. So all I ask is that if you like what you hear, if I say something that really resonates well with you, or you think, hey, that's something usable I can put to use in my own business, just type the word boom, B-O-O-M, in the chat box. And the reason behind that is that I get anywhere from 600 to 700 comments or questions over the course of a 60-minute session. And sometimes those comments are coming rapid fire. But when I see a bunch of booms, B-O-O-M, that really stands out. When I see that, I know, hey, these guys really like what I'm talking about. I'm going to spend more time on that topic. Or I know that I've said something that you guys really like. All right. So the boom rule. So I do like interactivity. So questions too, guys. Use the chat box for questions. More questions, the merrier. I promise I'll try to get to as many of them as possible. But please don't be offended if I don't get to your question because, again, there's more questions here asked than I can answer in about a 60 to 70 minute time frame. All right? Okay. So that's the housekeeping. I think we are ready to rock and roll. So let me get my slides rolling here. And I'm going to start off by showing you guys some really intriguing statistics here when it comes to Facebook. Okay, I see a question here. The chat box should be in the top right corner, your GoToWebinar toolbar. So if you click to open that or expand it, there should be a little box. It's got a little chat field in it that you could type your question in, and there's a send button to send your question. So I can't describe it perfectly to you because mine looks a little bit different than yours, and I'm typically on the admin side, the training side, as opposed to the other. All right. Okay. So guys, take a look at the screen. For those of you wondering about Facebook, here's the latest as of March 2017. These are the latest actual statistics according to Facebook. Worldwide, you have 1.94 billion active Facebook users. That's not total users, that's active users, people actually logging in on a regular basis. We're knocking on 2 billion there, guys. You got 1.15 billion mobile daily active users. You have 1.28 billion people who log on to Facebook daily. Now, here's an interesting one that really correlates well to the mortgage industry, and that's that the ages 25 to 34. That is the most common age demographic, active age demographic on Facebook. So people that think that the younger folks aren't on Facebook, who tends to fall in the 25 to 34 age brackets when it comes to mortgages? First-time homebuyers, right? So it's 29.7. That's almost 30%. We're knocking on a third of all users fall in that 25 to 34 demographic, guys. So wonderful for targeting first-time homebuyers. You have, according to Facebook in the U.S., you have 76% of all females and 66% of all males in the United States are active Facebook users. I mean, that's tremendous. 1 out of 5 of all page views on the internet in the United States are happening on Facebook. I mean, that's just insane, guys. I mean, that's just absolutely insane. I mean, really, the bottom line is there really any other tool out there where you get that type of exposure, where you can pretty much target 3/4 of the population? I mean, that's why we need Facebook. So now that we know why we need Facebook, let's talk about what we're going to learn here today. So we're going to talk about where almost everyone goes wrong with their Facebook advertising. We're going to talk about the simple truths about human behavior that you can implement right away that will skyrocket your results. We're going to talk about how to consistently get between 3 to 4 times, so that's 300 to 400% better results using the same ad. So we're just making some tweaks, guys, 3 tiny tweaks that you can make to any of your leads that you're capturing that will instantly better and more likely to talk to you. Okay, what I have in the works that'll completely rock your world. So I got something really neat going on, and I'm going to show you that towards the end of the call. And I also have, if you got my email right before the call, I also have a Facebook cheat sheet, a Facebook marketing cheat sheet that I'm going to give you a download link to that you can go and just grab right away and put to use. Okay. So as you know, guys, I'm big on taking action and I'm big on live demonstrations. So I'm going to take this opportunity to actually exit my slides, and we're just going to jump right into the meat and potatoes. I'm going to show you guys the Facebook ads dashboard because that's really where a lot of people are getting confused these days. So we're going to exit that. And while I'm doing that, opening up some tabs and slides here, if you guys can just let me know in the chat box, what are your biggest questions or what are your biggest roadblocks when it comes to the Facebook ads platform? So just go ahead and let me know in the chat box right now. Okay, so I'm gonna check your responses here very soon, but I'm just gonna go ahead and log into one of my many Facebook ads dashboards. So here we go. Boom. Okay, great. And I'm going to click on the top right corner, the green button that says create an ad. Let's go ahead and create an ad, and I'm going to start from the beginning. All right. So here's what I've done is I've logged into the Facebook ads dashboard. And if you guys have seen some of my previous videos, even from just not that long ago, what you probably notice is the dashboard looks very, very different, even just from the past 6 to 7 months. Facebook just likes to, I'm convinced that they just get a kick out of screwing with our heads and constantly changing things up and hiding things so that just when you think you know where everything's at, okay, oh, everything's been moved around. But the bottom line is that regardless of the way things have been moved around in the ads dashboard, there's a couple simple truths that I want you to recognize here. And the first one is that when you're choosing your ad objective, you're going to see all these different products. You got lead generation, video views, app installs, engagement ads, conversions, store visits, reach, brand awareness, and traffic ads. And as a general rule of thumb, I'm just going to tell you guys this right now. When you're deploying an ad, I don't care what anybody else tells you, 9 times out of 10, you're just going to do either a traffic, an engagement, or a lead generation ad. 9 times out of 10. Now, sometimes you might play around with video views as well, because video can still be a pretty kick-butt lead generator if you're playing your cards right. However, I do primarily traffic and engagement ads. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the traffic. I'm going to go ahead and click there. Okay, so I'm not going to go through the entire process of creating an ad today because I already have a ton of videos out there and there's a ton of other videos on YouTube you can watch that show you how to create an ad. But what I am going to do is show you the big mistakes that a lot of people make. So the campaign name, let's say that I'm going after VA. This is only going to be seen by you. So put something here that's going to help you identify at a glance, because once your ads dashboard, when you start running a bunch of ads, you're gonna it's going to get cluttered in a hurry, and it's easy for things to get lost. So give it a name that makes it really obvious what this is. Okay. All right, I'm going to show you another mistake where a lot of people go wrong, and that is right here at the top, your locations. Okay. So a lot of people will just leave this at default, which says everyone in this location. Well, when we're doing purchase or refi or whatnot, let's change that to people who live in this location. Otherwise, heck, I could be on vacation and just, or heading towards my vacation and just driving through your city or state, and because of the fact that Facebook sees, oh, hey, this person's in that location right now, boom, they're going to show me that ad. Well, I'm not going to click on it because I'm just driving through. I'm not house shopping. But that's going to count against you that it was shown to me and didn't earn a click. So your click-through ratio drops the more people who see your ad and don't take action on it, right? So why make your ads cost more by ignoring this one little simple step? Okay, so that's, again, that's right here at the top under locations. Click the drop-down box, people who live in this location. So I'm just going to put Atlanta in here. Okay, by default, you got a 25-mile radius. Now next, we're going to talk about age brackets. Now, some of my older videos from a few years back, I used to target primarily like the mid to upper 20s, 26, 27, and up. But within about the past 6 to 9 months, we've really seen that change quite a bit in most marketplaces. It doesn't mean that's necessarily the same in your marketplace. So I do recommend testing it. But most of the country, when I target 32 and higher, and I cut out anything below 32, I'm getting better results. I'm getting lower cost clicks, higher CTR rate. CTR simply stands for click-through ratio. The more people clicking, percentage-wise, the less you're going to pay for your ads. So that's a good thing. So a lot of people will argue with me on this and say, well, but I had a customer last week that was only 28. I'm losing out on business. Well, are you really? Because your goal here is not to get every single person searching for a loan, is it? You don't have time for that, nor the bankroll for that. But what your goal is to capture leads cost effectively and as qualified as possible. Okay? So you're not going after quantity here, you're going for quality. So I recommend 32, and I've also toggled down. I used to go into the 50s. Now I generally target between 45 and 48 max. Okay, so we have a fairly thin age bracket timeline of where people are buying homes and shopping for homes at a higher rate than they are in the other age brackets. Now, obviously, if you're doing something like reverse or something along those lines, then you're going to adjust this accordingly. And obviously, if you want to test things, there's nothing wrong with that. But don't blend them all together. Don't do a 32 to 65. That's way too broad. If you want to do 48 and up, then set that up as a separate ad with a specific age bracket. Does that make sense? All right, everybody with me so far? Okay. Another area where a lot of folks go wrong is they just let anybody and everybody see their ads. Okay. I like to use the Exclude People button. Okay, I really do. So the Exclude People button, I simply click in here, and if I don't want a bunch of other loan officers looking at my ads, then boom, I'm just going to put them in here, and I'm not going after interests. Guys, stop clicking on interests when you're blocking people. Look at that. Do you really think there's 1.7 million mortgage brokers out there? No, you got to click on job titles or employer, okay? Not interests. So I clicked on mortgage broker. I know for a fact mortgage bankers out there as well as a job title. There it is, mortgage banker, loan officer, right? So there we go. I got job title again for loan officer. And usually I'll put in about 7 or 8 variations. So just go down the list and just brainstorm a little bit as to what loan officers call themselves. There's about if you're really thorough, you might find about 8 to 10. Okay. And it's a little bit different on different parts of the country as well. Then I also like to do realtor, real estate agent, real estate broker, and so forth. You can see here I got both job titles and employers. Okay, so I'm going to do both. Residential real estate agent also should bring up some hits, and you can get a good dozen or more variations of realtors here as well, right? So these are all under my exclude, right? Everybody with me still? So what we're doing is we're blocking those individuals from seeing our ad, because bottom line is loan officers and real estate agents get really curious. You can also block based off of their job, the actual job itself. So we go ahead and look for company names. We got Century 21, we got Coldwell, we got Keller Williams, we got Remax, we got Welcome Home Realty. You got a bunch of them out there, right? So the include button, typically what I want to do is go after and just get really specific about who it is that I'm targeting. One of the ones that I like to do is income. You know, especially if I'm getting low quality leads, people who don't have down payment, then, you know, boom, I'll just go in here now, put in some minimum income brackets as well. But you know what it is you want to target. We've done this a million times before, so I'm not going to take a bunch of your time with that. But I just wanted to reiterate the importance of blocking your competition from clicking on your ads, because they're going to copy off of you and they're going to cost you money, both of which I'm sure you are not keen on. For the people that say, hey, I don't want to have to do this all the time, you know, that's a lot of work, just click save this audience. Save it as an audience so that next time around you don't have to go through every single step. Save the audience and boom. Now next time you run an ad, all you got to do is click from the drop-down box to choose a custom audience, okay? And that way everything is going to be initiated just as you saved it here today. Next, for placements, guys, edit placements. Stop running ads to your audience network and Instagram. Okay, now there's nothing wrong with running Instagram ads, but run them separately. Don't run them at the same time. With audience network, the quality's just not there in the traffic yet. Trust me, I will let you know when it is. But as of right now, it's still not quite up to snuff, so why waste money on the clicks? Go ahead and deselect them, okay? Now, if we want to do something really cool, and that's what's called day parting our ads, that means running ads at certain times of the day, we got to change our daily budget. Click this drop-down box, change it to a lifetime budget. What lifetime budget means is, let's say I'm going to run my ad for 1 week, and let's say that I would typically do $20 to $25 a day. Well, $20 a day times 1 week, what is that? 140 bucks? Okay, so I would put that in here, or whatever amount it is that I'm willing to spend over that time frame. So it looks like Facebook wants to do a minimum of 155. So okay, so I'm going to put 155 in here. Fine. So that means over the next week, the maximum, instead of locking me out at $20 per day or $25 per day on a daily basis, it's going to say, okay, the maximum you could spend is $155 spread out over the week. So if you manage to hit that in 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, or it takes the whole week, either way, that's my cap. But the reason I activated that is because it unlocks another feature. There's a feature that's typically not available to you if you're doing your daily budget, and that's under our ad scheduling. So if I come down here to ad scheduling and click on more options, check this out. I can run ads on a schedule. So what that means is I know that there are dead zones. There are certain times of the day where my ad's just not getting much traction. So I can actually come in here and say, okay, when my ad turns on Monday, let's turn it on at 8 o'clock. I'm going to run it from 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. I'm going to run it through noon, maybe even up to 1 o'clock. Let's run it till about 4. Okay, because then I know rush hour kicks off around 4:30. It's usually up by about 6 or 6:30, so I'm going to turn it back on at 7, 8, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and so forth. All right, so I can either go through and select specific times, and you just want to shade the area where you want your ad to run and leave blank the areas where you want your ad to be shut off. So now I don't have to come in here and manually pause and unpause my ads. Or if I'm going to do the same schedule every day for a whole week, then I just come down here to every day and I select my shading accordingly. See how that works? So again, I'm telling Facebook to turn my ads on and off during certain times of the day so I get maximum benefit. And the reason why that's important, guys, is when you run your ads during a down period, you're actually having a negative impact on your end result, because that counts against you, right? So Dave is saying, Chad, do you have a recommendation on times to run your ads? And I see a ton of questions coming over already, guys. And I apologize. I do have a lot of material to cover. So, but I will be circling back to get to these questions, okay? All right, so Chad, don't you want to include realtors on your ads? Typically, no. No, Todd. Now, in some cases, now some of you may want realtors to see your ads, specifically if you're targeting realtors, or specifically if you're doing a lot of good side-by-side benefit or marketing with realtors. However, just as a general rule of thumb, you're going to get a bunch of looky-loo realtors just clicking on it just to see, especially since we're going after the same target, just to see what you're doing, and oftentimes copy or pass it on to their own loan officers if they have somebody that they're close with. So as a general rule of thumb, I prefer to lock out so that the realtors aren't seeing them. That doesn't mean all the time. For those of you that are more realtor-centric or focused, then in that case, go ahead and leave them active. Okay? All right. Do you have a recommendation on times a day to run ads? Not really, and here's why. Because what I do to select what time I run my ads is my first week or two, I run my ads 24/7. And I pull my metrics after each ad has run to look at the statistics and see when my busy times versus my dead times are. And that's when I select and figure out what times of day are good to run and which times are not. And the reason why I said not really is because it's different for each market. Some markets, you're getting the bulk of your clicks from midnight through 4 a.m. Other markets, that's a complete dead zone. So instead of just pretending to know what everybody's market is doing, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to tell you, you got to test it. You have to, because nobody can tell you unless, even if somebody in your market can't really tell you because they may be running ads for a different demographic than you. Different demographics behave differently and click at different times a day. So run your ads for 1 to 2 weeks, pull your reports, pull your Facebook reports and metrics, look at when, because Facebook will tell you what time of day you're getting the best results, and then you'll identify those patterns and be able to come in here and complete this step. Okay? But you got to test it. You got to test it. Okay? Make sense? So John says, Chad, can you target only a handful of known people such as certain realtors? Absolutely. Absolutely. If I knew that there were specific types of realtors, I could actually come in here and put the company that they work for, but then watch this. So let's say that I wanted to target Keller Williams. Okay, so people who are employed by Keller Williams, and I know that realtor is listed that they're employed by Keller Williams on their Facebook profile. Then I could come in here and we use the narrow audience feature. So see, I was using this top box, but if I click the narrow audience feature, what that does is that's what we call the and feature. So that means instead of saying, well, this or this, it's saying this plus this. So I want them to work for Keller Williams, plus I want them to be a certain age bracket, or I want them to live in a certain area. I could target specific zip code, or I can even target a specific neighborhood. So the more you know about who it is you want to target, and the more you narrow it down in here, you can really get it down to just a handful or a group of individuals. Alternatively, what you can also do, guys, is if you have information on those individuals, a lot of people aren't familiar with the capability of Facebook for you to upload either email address or phone number or both. If you have that information, then you can upload it to Facebook as a custom audience, and Facebook will cross-reference that data, find their profile, and now you can run ads to them. So that's if you have their information. But that only works if they used that phone number or if they used that email address to set up their profile. If they used something different, then it's not going to track them down, right? But it's still always worth a shot. So those are the two methods you can do to really, really hyper-focus and target. Okay? Make sense, everyone? All right. Good deal. Okay, so let's keep rocking and rolling here. So these are my primary. Oh, just got another Facebook ad approved. So yeah, at any given point, I'm running several hundred ads across the U.S. So you might see a couple of those pop up here as we go along. All right, so I do see a lot of questions coming over, guys, but don't worry, I will indeed circle back. But first, I do need to move on here because I do have a lot of material to cover here. And is somebody raising their hand there? Because I keep getting a little hand icon there. So if somebody's got some specific questions, please let me know. If that's you raising your hand, I'd be more than happy to unmute you once we get to that point. All right. Okay. All right. Good deal, guys. Okay, so let's talk about the ads themselves. Let's talk about it. Because really, the number one complaint that I get, and I'm actually looking at your guys' answers here and some of your comments about what your biggest challenges are. And the biggest complaints are, hey, I'm running ads and I'm just not getting the results that I thought I should be, or that was advertised. My expectations are not being met. And really, it all boils down to 99% of the time, guys, it's falling in one of these categories. If you've done your settings correctly, then the problem is typically either A, you're not standing out, which kind of correlates with the next one. It's boring them. They're just not finding it interesting. Or C, confusing them. How many times have you read an ad and you're like, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to do next. I don't know what the point of this is. And I've seen a lot of them. D, you're blending in. There's no value, there's no angles there, there's nothing to separate you from the competition's ad. So the person, they might see it, even if you have great pictures and imageries and you're standing out, they see it, and there's just no value there. There's no reason for them to click. Or finally, the last one is your targeting isn't dialed in enough. Most of the problems for people who are not getting enough clicks, this is where the problem falls, right? So why don't you guys tell me, help me out here, what do good results mean to you? Let me know in the chat box, because I get a lot of people saying, hey, I really want to get good results on my Facebook ads, but what are good results? What's your idea of good results on Facebook? I'm interested in what you guys have. So a low cost per lead, says John. Sue says 5 leads. Okay, so I'm guessing that's weekly. 1 lead per 100 clicks, says Emmett. Okay, there's one that says making money. Okay, makes sense. All right, excellent, excellent. All right, not going broke, getting leads. Okay, well, take a look at the screen here, guys. This is industry average based on, this is anecdotal. So I've surveyed quite a few individuals and averaged out the numbers based on what loan officers told me they were getting, and from actually looking at their accounts. I have access to several hundred accounts where I can look at the back ends and the admins and see what they're running and see what results they're getting. Industry average click-through rate for loan officers is about a quarter of 1%, about 25%. Okay, and that's rough. That's rough. And their conversion rate, once they get them to their destination, is also around between 0.25 and 0.30%. That's scary. It's about 1.4% if they have their own website. So this right here is if it's a company, one of those cloned company websites that they give to all the loan officers. If you have your own website, then that goes up to about 1.4%. But those are loan officers sending all their traffic to their home page. You can't do that, guys. You can't do that with ads. You just can't. And then it bumps up to about 2 to 2.2% if they send them over to an actual landing page, a specific lead capture page. But let me show you guys something here. I'm going to go. I'm going to open up something here. It's in my marketing folder. Let me show you guys something here. Okay, I'm going to show you some of the results that we've been getting. These are all, unless otherwise noted, all within the past 2.5 weeks. Okay, these are our conversion rates to our landing pages of what we've been generating. So right here we got a 34% completion rate. A 34% completion rate means 34% of the people who hit the landing page converted. So compare that to the industry average landing page of 2.2% or 1.4% of sending them to a traditional website. Which would you rather have? 1.4%, 2.2%, or 34%. So for this particular loan officer, and these are all between the time frame of spread out over 4 days or a 1-week period. So this loan officer had 29 visits, captured 10 leads, 34% lead capture rate, and this was we ran this ad for 4 days. So 4 days, captured 10 leads, 34% conversion. Not bad, not bad, but let's keep going. Let's go to the next one here. Okay, so here's the next one. So now here's another loan officer. 35% completion rate, 11 leads captured, 31 visits. Okay, let's keep going. There we go. Here's a loan officer. We ran for a whole week. 55 leads captured, 16% completion rate. So 321 hits here on mobile. Interesting thing, guys. Look at the difference between the mobile and the desktop. Okay, so this is PC, laptop here. So 18 visits, 1 lead captured, 6% completion rate. But here on mobile, 16% completion rate, 55 leads captured in a single week. Okay, so we're getting some bigger numbers there. Here's a loan officer, 35% completion, 13 leads captured, 37 visits, 9% completion on PC, 44% completion on smartphones. That's insane. We're knocking on half. So almost half of the people who opened up the landing page converted. Here's another loan officer, 66 leads in 1 week. So we got a 17% completion rate, 380 visits, right? So 19% on smartphones and 0 on the desktop. So we had 1 lead captured on a tablet. Right now, I could keep going. I have literally hundreds of these guys. These are not just a handful here. So 18% completion, 6 leads captured over a period of 4 days. This was a hyper-focused niche, by the way. So 25 leads captured at a 25% conversion rate, 101 visits, so over a 6-day time period. So I could just keep going on, and I can even show you the lead actual lead pages and just the sheer volume of information we were collecting between 8 and 9 fields of data, and even had people scheduling actual appointments right there on the landing page. Not just leads, but appointments scheduled. People basically signing up to, hey, I'm coming into the office. So here we got 32 leads captured. Again, I'm not going to bore you guys by just going on and on and on, but just making a point that this is repeatable. And it's repeatable because we take a very specific approach to our lead generation. You know, a lot's changed just in the past year to year and a half. So I'm getting some booms there. Absolutely. Absolutely. How are we getting such good results? And how are we actually even getting people to schedule appointments? Not just a lead, but people even scheduling appointments. Now, I'm not saying every one of those leads scheduled appointment, not even close. Usually it's only about 10 to 15% of them. But let's say, okay, so 35 leads in a week. If 10% of those people scheduled an appointment with you, that's 3.5 people. Okay, so let's round it up or round it down. So that's either 3 or 4 people who basically filled out on your calendar, hey, yes, either I want a phone appointment to specifically speak with you, or I'm coming into the office on this day and at this time to come speak with you. How many of you guys would like your leads doing that? Doesn't that make for a much hotter lead? So how do we get these types of results? Well, number one, guys, is we got to stop being me too. There's a lot of me too people out there. You know who you are. Me too, guys, blending in. What we need is pattern disruption. Pattern disruption is when we do something the opposite of what the people expect to see. So let me ask you guys, how do you scroll through your Facebook newsfeed? Do you slowly examine everything and you come across an ad and read the whole thing carefully to make sure it's not important to you and then slowly move on? And no, we rapid fire scroll through that sucker, don't you? It's just information overload. So it's normally, I mean, me, within the first 30 seconds, I've already, you know, had 50, 60, 70 different posts already rapidly fly by. And that's the way most people scroll. So they stop only when something grabs their attention. That's where a pattern disrupt comes into play. You got to snap them out of what they're doing to get them to do something else. So what are some examples of pattern disruptions? Well, story selling, for example, tapping into self-identity, something that they relate to. Because let's think about human behavior. While people may hate ads, but they love stories. So story selling is where we turn an ad into a story, something that's relevant. Okay, something that would appeal to them and suck them into it. Like, wow, I want to know what happened next. Or interactive quizzes. People love giving their opinions. We're opinionated as hell, aren't we, people? We like giving our opinions to the point where we can't help but, you know, type and comment when other people make posts we might disagree with, you know, or people ask for opinions. They want to give their opinion. There's also FOMO. What does FOMO stand for? FOMO, fear of missing out. That's another pattern disrupt that we could tap into. Okay, so I'm going to give some examples here later. But let's just keep going to talk about this particular example of story selling and pattern disrupt number one. So up here at the top is what I call your core idea. So here's what I did. I'm not saying this is a good ad by any means. Okay, so please don't anybody look at this as an example of a good ad, because it's not. What I did was I just opened up my Facebook and I scrolled down until I saw my first mortgage ad, and I just distilled it down to what the core ideas were. So here's what the core ideas were in that particular ad. And I can tell you right now the ad was not performing well. So basically the core ideas behind the ad was basically, hey, you know what? You need a loan. We happen to provide loans. We're good at it. We're trustworthy. We're reliable. Those were the core messages built within the ad. Not saying that's the verbiage. The verbiage is basically here. Here's basically what the ad said. Now, I did slightly modify it and shorten it, but this is ultimately 90% similar to what it said. So if you're looking to buy a home, contact us today to find out which loan programs are best for you and your family. Now is a great time to buy a home before interest rates rise even more. So guys, let me know in the chat box right now, how many of you guys have seen this ad or something darn near identical to it in the past couple weeks? How many of you guys? Come on, come on. I know more than 10 of you. Okay, here they come. Okay, so now I'm getting more all the time, right? So tell me, when you see this, do you feel just strongly motivated to click on the ad? How many of you guys think, holy crap, this is great? Okay, Andy says, I think this is actually my ad, LOL. All right, brave man admitting that, so good job, Andy. All right, so everybody's saying boring, 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 boring. Exactly, exactly. So here's what I did, and I spent no more than about 45 seconds on this, guys, so don't take this as an example of a good ad either, because I would not post this as an ad. But what I did was just said, okay, this ad is so poorly converting that even with a mediocre, only 45 seconds of attention, I can improve on it by implementing one example of story selling. I turned it into a story. Okay, so that story is basically tapping into their challenges, tapping into things that are relevant to them, and tapping into things that tap into their fears. Okay, so here we go. So it's the same ad, but just mild modification with the pattern disrupt. So home buyers on the West Coast have been faced with rapidly rising costs to buy a home. In fact, some reports claim as much as a 44% increase in the cost to buy a home in the last few years alone. Large down payments, closing costs, and even the asking prices on homes seem to go up almost daily. In fact, at times you may even wonder if you can truly afford to buy it all. Thankfully, there is a solution. And then I just kind of cut it off there because I think we made the point. Which are you going to click on first? If two of these ads, if you were shopping for a home and you're faced with either this ad or this ad scrolled up in the same feed, which one's more likely to get clicked on? Well, obviously the bottom one, because of the fact that we're making it relevant. This top one says nothing about where you live. Well, here, if I'm in California, I'm going to put the word California in there. If I'm in Oregon, I'm going to put the word Oregon on there. I'm going to make it relevant. In fact, if I'm marketing to only just one city, I'm going to put the city name on there. So home buyers in St. Louis, for example, have been faced with rapidly rising cost to buy a home. Number two, I'm tapping into their fear and concerns, okay? Because a lot of people, what's the big concern when you're buying a home? Money. This is going to be freaking expensive. This is going to be expensive. That's the number one fear. I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to do something dumb. How can I save money? You know, I want money for landscaping. I want money for furniture that I'm going to need to fill my house up with. I want money for moving costs. So a lot of people are worried just how much are they going to have to dip into their pocketbook. So why not address that right there in the darn ad itself? Okay, large down payments, closing costs. Okay, don't you guys always hear, well, how much do I have to put down? Oh, what are your closing costs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's how we made the ad instantly better. Instantly better. I wouldn't call it a great ad yet because I would need to spend time on it and tweak it and really make it flow. But just with 45 seconds of attention, I made that ad better. So imagine what you can do when you spend more time on it and you carefully approach it in a methodical way. So what we did was we presented a problem. The problem was real and the problem was targeted, so it was specific. It was relevant to that specific audience. Okay, so we're talking and tapping into their fears so that we self-identify with the mention of the West Coast. We magnified the pain by talking it out. So we We mentioned some of those pain points by name. Large down payments, expensive closing costs, 44% increase in the cost to buy a home. We magnified that pain. In other words, we kind of poured some salt on the wound a little bit. But then we alluded to a solution. So can you see how just applying these simple bullet points can make a world of a difference in your ad? We don't want to be generic. We don't want to be me too. We want to speak as if we are talking to an audience, not like a freaking ad. If I look like an ad, smell like an ad, and sound like an ad, I'm going to be treated like an ad. How do we treat ads? We scroll on by. But when I talk to them like they're a human being with fears and concerns and that I can relate to them at least well enough to articulate those fears and concerns, now suddenly I'm more of telling a story. It's a pattern disrupt. Okay? Let's talk about some other pattern disruptions. Pattern disrupt number 2. People love comparing things. So let me give you some wild examples of some really weird ads we've run recently that have performed pretty damn well. Okay, so people like to compare things and they like to have an opinion. So does anybody remember that old website way back in the day? And I'm talking early 2000s when it came out, called Hot or Not. Anybody remember those websites? How many of you guys remember that? Do you remember what hotornot.com was? Where you could upload your pictures and people would just see a bunch of pictures of people and then they would just either rank the picture of the person as hot or not. And they're just, well, it was a huge, huge, huge sensation, made a crap ton of money. Oh yeah? So yeah, Hank says, yeah, I remember that. It was the first tender. Yeah. Well, why was it such a big deal? Well, because people like having an opinion. They just like voting and comparing things. And there's been a million different variations on all sorts of different topics outside of hot or not over the years. And again, we're talking like the early 2000s that came out. And yeah, those sites tend to make a lot of money because they're tapping into what people like to do, and that is compare stuff. My apologies, I accidentally double-clicked and moved on. But now imagine applying that same concept, tapping into people's need and want to compare things and have an opinion and vote. And we did one where we took 2 different listings in the same hometown and just asked the audience on the page, well, which house do you like better? If you were to buy a home right here, if you could have either one of these homes and they're both the exact same price point, which house would you prefer? And tons of people voting on it. Why do we care that people are voting on the houses? Can anybody answer me that? Why do I care if people are voting on the houses? Why? Why does it not matter to me if they're a home buyer or not? If all I want them doing is voting on the houses. Anybody have a theory why it matters? Exactly. So Sue got it. Engagement. Why does engagement matter? Why do I want people, even non-buyers, engaging? Well, because of Facebook's algorithm, that the more people who engage with your ad, the higher the percentage of individuals that Facebook's going to show my ad to for free. So it's not even costing me any freaking money. I'm tapping into the viral aspect. And inevitably, the 3% rule will always kick in. 3% rule is that 3% of any audience, any large, decently sized audience, is going to be in need of your services, no matter what it is you sell. And the same applies to mortgages. So if I got 100 people, out of those 100 people, there's 3 of them that either need to buy a home or do a refi right now. So either way, they need my services. So if I get 1,000 people to see my ad, that's 30 people. If I get 10,000 people, that's 300 people, and so forth. So if I can get this thing to get high engagement and be shown to more people, thousands and thousands of people, inevitably some of those people are actually house hunting and might actually share that post with their friend. Oh, hey, you know what? To their spouse or whatever. Hey, this looks like a great home. They're going to inquire. Questions start coming over. Bottom line is I'm getting eyeballs. And then we narrowed it down and we did the same thing to just kitchens. We're like, okay, well, the exterior of homes worked. Let's try it with specific rooms. Okay, well, which kitchen? Which is your dream kitchen? Do you like this or do you like that? Or master bathroom or finished lower level. So we started showing different aspects of the homes, okay? What's most important to you when buying a new home? So we did questions such as those. Would you rather, what's more important to you? Would you rather have a lower down payment or have a lower interest rate? Which is better when you're buying a home? So we just started asking different questions and just playing around with the idea of tapping into people's propensity to want to compare things and share their opinion. So to all you home buyers out there, what's the single most stressful part about buying a new home? What's the best part about buying a new home? We just ask those questions. We run engagement ads. We put cool looking pictures attached to them. Boom, instant success with the pattern disruption because people stop what they're doing and they take a look at it and they can't help but give their opinion. Right? So let's do pattern disrupt number 3. People like to be in the know. They like to feel special. They like to feel like they're privy to information, and they like things that are relevant to them, make them feel singled out and special. Okay? Not just everyone else. So you got a lot of the viral websites out there, like what do you got? You got BuzzFeed, and you got a million different viral websites out there. And for the past couple of years, there's been a specific type of a post formula that individuals use in those ads. And what they typically do is they put something like, only someone who's given birth knows how this feels, and they'll post a little meme or a little story about something, and then they target it to women who have had children. And then they'll do something like, well, only someone who's been a police officer would understand this. And then they target and show the article to police officers and so forth. Well, they keep doing those types of articles because they work. They pull very well because if you're a police officer or if you have children, you're scrolling through your news feed and you see a headline like that, you're going, hey, what do I understand? And you can't help but read it. So now you can do something similar with your ads. Hey, here's something that only a current first-time home buyer will truly understand. The feeling of this, the feeling of that, or whatever. We can even do stories. So we actually did one where I called up the realtors and asked for their craziest experiences of working with a home buyer. So I wanted to know their horror stories and I wanted to know their funniest stories. And then we turned them into stories that we shared. And we said, okay, only real estate agents will truly understand this, and boom, now we had something to show to realtors. And then we did one to target buyers too. Okay, only home buyers will truly understand this, or you're not going to believe what these first-time home buyers experience. It's going to blow your mind. If you're a first-time home buyer, you need to read this. So we start making things that are relevant to them. But again, this is infotainment at this point. We're providing information, but we're doing it in a entertaining manner. So again, it's another pattern disrupt. Okay, and we can even go all out and we can turn the whole thing into a story, even a traditional ad. So we're abandoning the traditional ad copy in favor of telling a story. So this one is actually like sharing news almost. So example A of a traditional ad would be, click here to learn the truth about mortgage loans that the banks don't want you to know. That's, we've seen a million variations of this particular example A. But I could take example A, and again, with just 45 seconds, just a quick restructuring of it, we completely change our headline. Home buyers beware. A local Missouri family nearly lost their home due to sneaky lending practices that could happen to you as well. Buying a home turned into a horror story for the such and such family when they went to see a local loan officer at. And then you just share the story. But it kind of sucks them in, especially if it's right there in their hometown. So I would actually change that to, a local St. Louis family if I'm running the ad in St. Louis. But you can see how we make it more interactive. We're sucking them in. Because especially if I'm in Missouri and I'm looking to shop, I'm looking to buy a home, I'm probably clicking on the story going, hey, I wonder if I know these people and I wonder what the hell happened to them. Oh, and I wonder which loan officer they're working, what company. I'm clicking on the ad just to see if I can get some more details. Why do you think the news is modeled the way it is? How often do you turn on the news and see a bunch of great information, a bunch of great, happy, uplifting stories? No, it's filled with horror stories. It's filled with all the things going wrong. Because we're all a bunch of freaking rubberneckers, right? It's in our nature that when something goes wrong, we want the details. You can't, it's like a train wreck. You can't help but look. It's like, what happened? So are we going to argue with that and fight against it? Or are we going to tap into the fact that that's how people are? Deal with it. Embrace it and market to them accordingly. Does that make sense to you guys? How many of you guys think that's makes sense? How many of you think that you could tap into something like this, these pattern disruptions? Can you use this kind of information? Why keep doing ads the same way that everyone else does? I mean, really, give me one good reason why we should keep doing ads the same old, same old, same old. Can anybody give me a good reason when you have this kind of information out there? You're not going to find a lot of people doing this, right? And you're not going to find people teaching this either. That's why I'm sharing this with you right now. All right, so let me share a couple other really neat things. Now, I don't have time to go into the nitty-gritty of how you do this, but I just want to make you aware of some of the recent things that Facebook's now allowing people to do. For one, you can now target Messenger, guys. So how many people have Messenger on their cell phones? Well, we already know. I showed you at the very beginning of the call, right? It's well over 1 billion now active daily users, and that's a lot of people have even abandoned texting and just do their back and forth private messaging through Messenger app on their cell phones. Okay, heck, I'm looking at mine now. It just beeped at me. I've gotten four messengers just since I started this webinar. But now we can actually run ads and target people on Messenger. So even if they're not browsing through their news feed, okay, we have the ability, Facebook gave the ability to send invites to like your page if somebody engages with your post. So remember when I talked about the voting and the comparing and running ads like that and why that was so important? Well, here's part of the reason why it's so important is let me explain what this means. So let's say you put that, hey, which house do you like better? Click here to vote. Click like to vote for that, or click share to vote for that. Or click thumbs up to vote for the house on the left, or click smiley face to vote for the house on the right. All they do is click that like button or click on one of those icons, and boom, Facebook immediately sends them a private message that says, hey, thank you so much for liking my post about blah, blah, blah. Now, why don't you click here to like my page itself? That's powerful. Why do you want them to like your page? Well, because now if they just like your post, you get nothing out of it, right? But if they like your page, now when you make posts in the future, guess whose timeline you're going to show up in, right? Facebook has also recently been rolling out group targeting. So I can actually target specific groups, not just pages, but groups themselves. So home buying groups, real estate investing groups, real estate for sale groups, for sale by owner groups, and so forth. I can actually target those individuals and run ads directly to those group members now. And in fact, even push an ad into the group itself, feed. Awesome. Facebook has also rolled out their automated answer bots. Answer bots are awesome. I love answer bots because I can set up an answer bot that basically takes all the frequently most asked questions that drive me nuts. And when somebody goes to my page, even if I'm out on vacation and somebody goes to my Facebook page and clicks to send me a question, if my answer bot is activated, it's going to act like me and ask them questions and then kick back the appropriate answer and even insert a call to action telling them to either call me or go to my website or go to my landing page or give them a link or do something, or even kick out a lead form and say, hey, please fill this out. I mean, these answer bots are really cool, guys. Let's not dismiss them. So these are all relatively new features that Facebook has rolled out that hardly anybody's using. Okay? So I'm going to go on to the next issue that a lot of you guys have talked about. The number one question that I'm asked more than any other is how do I get more leads? Guess what the number two question is? Okay, now that I'm getting leads, how do I get better quality? How many of you guys love the idea of chasing after 100 people just to get one or two that's interested? Anybody keen on that idea? Does that sound like a good day to you? Doesn't to me. I mean, we all want quality, right? We want quality leads. So the thing is when people tell me the quality needs improvement, there's a couple of things that can be done. So if the people aren't really responding after they've given you their information, we shouldn't just write them off, guys, because usually the challenge isn't with the lead. The challenge is in what we do immediately following that lead capture. And even with a lot of the trainers out there, most of them don't teach what to do to boost the quality of the lead. They just sit there and brag about how many leads that they can get you. But who cares if they're not closing? I don't care how many leads. What I care about is how many of them are freaking closing and turning into applications. So what can be done is to turn that lead capture process into a two-step process. Now, I've been teaching the two-step process for years, since 2008. but there's even been some improvements in that over the years. And number one, and first and foremost on that list, guys, is you have to manage expectations with a thank you page. Don't just say, thank you so much, we'll get back with you soon. Because how many of you guys are super excited when you see that message? If you fill something out and you see a message that says, thank you so much, we'll be in touch soon, how many of you guys go, man, that was an awesome experience? No, instead it's that was a perfectly average and predictable experience. And is that how you want to be remembered? Because when you go to pick up the phone to call that person, if their last taste in their mouth of that experience was average, nothing special, how excited are they to hear from you? So instead, imagine a thank you page immediately that is a video of you describing to them what to expect, letting them know that you're going to be calling, letting them know why it's important that they take your call, and then over-delivering with some awesome information to boot so that you go above and beyond. So hey, this is Chad Weber, and I want to take a moment here to thank you so much for filling out this questionnaire about finding out how much home you can afford and qualify for. And I just wanted to give you a couple of heads up, and I'm going to share some really, really valuable information that can help you get a better deal on your next mortgage, and maybe even some home shopping tips, and allow you to negotiate a better deal when you actually buy the house itself. So, but first and foremost, before I get to that information, I just want to let you know that I may be giving you a jingle. You may have noticed that we asked for a phone number, and here's why I'm going to be calling you guys. I'm going to be calling because, boom, now let them know why you're calling. Let them know what it is that you're calling about. Let them know why it's important. So I might talk to them about credit and why it's important that I find out, and maybe even do a credit analysis, because almost half of all credit reports in America have errors on them. I might talk to them about more accurate estimates if I can get just a couple additional questions answered. I mean, who knows? It's up to you what that information is going to be, but let them know what to expect. They're going to appreciate that you took the moment to manage those expectations, because otherwise they're wondering, well, what do I do? What do I expect? What happens now? Do I just sit here and twiddle my thumbs? Do I check my email inbox? What's going to happen? Well, answer that for them, but also give them some additional tips. Maybe direct them to your YouTube channel and tell them to like it and follow it. Maybe direct them to your Facebook page. Maybe direct them to whatever, a landing page, another website, or direct them, boom, 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 to schedule a freaking appointment. Remember I mentioned that we're getting appointments right there from there? That's step number 2. Is if a lot of people think, well, no, nobody's going to actually schedule an appointment. Well, they won't if you don't ask them to. But when you ask, 90% of them aren't, but 10% of them will. If you give them a reason. And I'll take that 10% over 0% any day of the week. But you got to excite them. You got to over-deliver. You got to give them some awesome information. Tell them some really cool things they're going to learn on a quick 15-minute consultation with you. But they got to click the button to schedule an appointment. Put a calendar right there on the same page. It's an appointment page. Make sense? Awesome. Awesome. Abso-freaking-lutely. All right, so I'm going to give you guys a link here to download that that document I was telling you about at the beginning of the call. So here's the link. In fact, let me just head over to that page right now. Let me show it to you, and then I'm going to copy and paste the link in the chat box. So let me get the tab open here. There we go. It's right here, guys. Here it is. So here's what's going to happen: is you just go to this page. You don't have to fill anything out. Just click to download your cheat sheet. Let's go ahead and click there right now. Boom. So on this cheat sheet, basically what it's going to do is walk you through by asking you questions that you need to ask yourself when you're setting up an ad. Number 1, what approach do other LOs in my area use? I'm asking myself this question because I know I need to be different. My pattern disrupt, right? Number 2, what is my angle and how does it allow me to pique their interest? Number 3, are my visuals unique and eye-catching? What makes them stand out? See, basically what this is doing is it's accountability, guys. It's forcing you to basically ask yourself these questions that you know, reminding you to do these things that you know you need to be doing, but most of you aren't, right? How many of us are guilty of that? Go on, you can tell me. Heck, even I'm guilty of that sometimes. Okay, I just put the link in the chat box. All right, so if you open up your chat box, you can click on the link and go directly to here and download. Yeah, when you open it, just click in the top right corner to download it. Either download it or print it out. I recommend both. Okay, and fill this darn thing out. Don't ignore it and think, yeah, I'm going to remember all that. Human memory is the most unreliable of all storage mediums. We already know that. So don't just trust on your memory or rely on your memory that you're actually going to remember to do this stuff, because even I sometimes forget little steps, and just one or two steps can be the glue that binds the whole thing together, right? So again, I put the link in the chat box. Click on it to download your sheet now. Now I have a question for you guys. I want to know, what are your biggest challenges based on what we discussed here today? What do you feel would be the biggest challenge that you would run into, or challenges that you would face in trying to implement what we just discussed? Anybody? Okay, I see some coming over now. Okay. Right, not having, okay, so not having the technical knowledge or the time. Yeah, time's a big one. Time is definitely a big one, because this stuff does take time to set up. So analysis paralysis, says Ryan. Okay, Jeff, finding a unique topic that grabs attention. Christopher says, oh, wait, it's scrolling too quick for me. Okay, it's a whole new beginning for Facebook. So the learning curve, says Virginia. I'm not very creative, says Sue. Okay, you'd be surprised how often we hear that one. Not very creative in my thinking, says John as well. So John agrees with Sue. Not knowing what to show as my ad, says Tony. So a lot of them, so a bunch more, and they're all, they tend to fall in these three categories. That's the funny thing is, here's what I broke down just based on previous responses to, oh, I don't know, the last 90 webinars I've done. Number one is almost always tech. How the heck do I get my pages to do this? And I know I need to be using dynamic forms, but what the heck even is a dynamic form? I'm not a programmer. How do I get it to be dynamic? How do I do this? How do I do that? I need my redirects. I need my application that's going to schedule an appointment. Boom, boom, boom. It's got all this stuff, and then you got to duct tape it together and make it all work together. So that's a big problem. Number two is knowing what to do each step of the way, because we don't remember everything, do we? I could sit here and talk till I'm blue in the face, but how many of you guys are going to walk away and remember a week from now 100%? Here's exactly what I do to implement. We take away just a tiny fraction of what we hear, because we're so busy doing a million other things. You're busy being a loan officer. Your brain doesn't prioritize remembering all this stuff. It just tries its best to file it away for later, and then hope that you don't lose too much of it. Also, losing focus and getting distracted. That's a big, big thing. There's a lot of distractions out there in the world, and we oftentimes lose focus. Right? So that can be that can definitely be extremely frustrating as well, and that's why I brought up at the beginning of the call, is basically what I'm bringing to the table. What I talked about, this is just going to blow people's socks off. Is what I've been rolling out here, guys, is my Facebook ads mastermind and toolkit. And this was something that I put together specifically for loan officers that are just in a freaking hurry to get results. For the people that just say, hey, you know what, I want results like these, that you were showing earlier. I want 55 leads in a week, 35% conversion rates, and this and that. Okay, great. That is all very doable. Is all very doable. But we got to get past those hurdles that we just discussed, those roadblocks, those technical issues and whatnot. So that's what this whole thing was designed around, was to take all of those challenges and hurdles and roadblocks into consideration, and then craft a mastermind training that just removes all of those challenges. Okay, so let's look at what we do. First of all, it's a mastermind. So that means that we meet multiple times each month with a small group. I'm only doing 2 groups of 12, period. That's it. If you don't get into those 2 groups of 12, okay, that's it. Yeah, that's your one opportunity. Okay, so members only meetings and training, where everything I showed you here today, including the advanced things like the bots and the cool messenger apps and all this other stuff, you're going to learn all of it. Basically, I'm going to turn you into an ads ninja. That's my goal. Is I want you to just be the best of the best in your hometown at using and deploying Facebook ads to capture leads. So these mastermind meetings are very intense. We have interactive skill set trainings. You're going to have access to all of my Facebook marketing software. So when you guys are asking me questions about landing pages and all this other stuff, well, you don't need it because I'm going to give it all to you. Landing page software, you don't need to go buy landing page software. Use mine. I'm just going to give it to you as part of the mastermind. It's easy to use. I'm going to give you software that does stupid cool things, just insanely cool things that I just don't have time to show you today, that you probably aren't even aware that you can do on Facebook. I'm going to give you that software. This is normally software you have to go out and purchase and subscribe to, but with my mastermind you don't. It's all part of the package. Okay. Now I have this really kick butt piece of software. It's extremely expensive software that taps into an API data feed on a nationwide basis. And what it does is it pulls in every single ad on every single platform in the mortgage industry. So I don't care if it's a neighbor down the street who only spent 50 bucks on running an ad for a week, or if it's Quicken Loans who spent $1.4 million on their ads last week. We're going to see all of them. And it's not just on Facebook. It's not just on Google. It's not just on, it's on over 186 different platforms. So you see everything. Now this software costs me $1,500 a month to tap into that data. 1,500 bucks a month. But I'm going to run those reports twice each month for my members, so you will see the top best performing ads in the country. You tell me what niches you want to see. I will run them. We don't just see their ads either. We see the images, we see the ad copy, we see their landing pages that they redirect to, so you can see their entire funnel. So there is no guessing. You know exactly what's working, so we can incorporate those positive elements that are working into our own campaigns. And with my landing page software and these tools, you can emulate them as well if you so choose. Okay, so that right there is worth the admission. That's some pretty kick butt stuff. Access to landing page software included done for you designs. So yeah, in each month I'm deploying new landing pages as part of that membership that insert directly into your landing page software. So you just copy the code, paste it on a page, and boom, you have the exact same landing page, which is pretty darn cool. We do new ad test and tweak sessions. So that's where we'll actually take your ads that you've run and we'll deconstruct them, do live critiques, and let you know what to do to enhance. All right, so yeah, it's a pretty kick butt mastermind, guys. But in addition to that, I'm doing a fast action bonus. That means people who get in within the next 24 hours, here's some additional bonuses you're going to get. You're going to get early bird access to an opportunity to participate in my new artificial intelligent landing page campaign. So I can't really tell you guys too much about this. I've not really told anybody any details on this yet. Nobody. No one. I hate to put it this way, but generally speaking, when it comes to marketing and specifically PPC marketing, mostly what I'm teaching is about 1.5 to 2 years ahead of what all the other trainers are teaching. And if you guys don't believe me, go back and look at my videos from even 2008. What you see guys finally teaching now is stuff I was teaching back in 2008. Wonder where they learned it. I've even heard some of those guys say, yeah, I invented this. No, you didn't. We were teaching it back in 2008, 9 years ago. We're right now playing around with artificial intelligence. And these are pages you've never seen before. They do things you've never seen before. And I'm predicting right now, I'm going on record, so 2 years from now I'm going to point it out, this is going to become the norm within about 24 months. But you will have an opportunity to get in to use this way before anybody else is using it. And within the next 30 days, I'm going to be rolling this out as case studies specifically to my mastermind members. So if you want to get your hands on this stuff and see what the heck an artificial intelligent landing page is and lead capture page is, you got to jump in my mastermind, guys. It's cool as heck. You're also going to get a one-on-one consultation with me to boost your lead quality. So this has to do with your back end, your conversion, your follow-up. So I'm going to show you exactly what my best clients are doing. The guys that are getting the best results, you're going to get that same knowledge. So we're going to analyze and say, okay, here's what you need to do to boost your lead quality. Bonus training on how to automate your lead follow-up as well. So automation, guys, we know we need automation. Also, I will personally write your very first ad for you on a niche of your choice, because I know there's a certain intimidation factor. when you're getting started, when you're first getting started, if you haven't done this before, or if you've done it but haven't gotten great results before, a lot of people are intimidated and they're going, man, I'm afraid I made mistakes, and it's going to cost me money, these mistakes. Okay, fine. You know what? Let me build your first one for you. Let me write your first ad for you. And then all you got to do is just click that button. Let's make it easy. Okay. Now, I'm posting the link. I'm posting another link in the chat box, guys, so you can jump over to the chat box and click on a link if you're wanting to apply to grab a spot. Because here's the problem: is like I said, I'm only doing 2 groups of 12, and I do that intentionally because it's not that I'm trying to be a jerk. I don't want to exclude anybody, but at the same time, if I put too many people in these groups, then I spread myself too thin, and then you guys might get upset that you won't have easy access to me. So I have to limit the size of the groups. My first group's already filled because I did a webinar similar to this on Tuesday. Group number 1 is 100% filled. Group number 2, I already got the first 5 slots filled. So there's 7 slots left. So yeah, when I jumped on this webinar, I was going, holy crap, I can only fit 7 more guys before we close the doors. But because of the fact that I can only take 7 more loan officers, I got to get super picky. And that means go to that link that I just posted and answer those questions. Let me go to that page right now and I'll show you what to do. Okay. So let's head on over there. Here it is. So you're going to go to this page. And again, the link is in the chat box. And you're going to click, I want to be considered. It's going to ask you some questions. So I want to know, what is your number 1 challenge that you currently face in your marketing? So you're just going to kind of go through, okay, what's your current monthly income goal? Okay, great. Ranking on a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you? Okay, great. And guys, be honest with your answers. The more forthright you are with me up front, the better I can let you know if this is a good fit. Because what's going to happen is I'm going to take a look, and I read every one of these up until we close the doors. I read every one of these, and I analyze, and then I either offer you a one-on-one phone call for us to go over the details, or not. It's that simple. And don't get mad at me, guys. Don't get mad if you don't get a call. Chances are we just filled up, or maybe I didn't even get to yours in time. But it really is. It's just first come, first serve. That's the most fair I can be. Okay. We also have options for those of you who are just busy bees. Okay, fine. We have some done for you options. If you want my technical staff to do the setups and whatnot for you, you want my graphics and copywriting team to write your ads and do the editing and handle your weekly campaign management, I do have done for you options. Now, naturally, though, the price tag's higher if we're doing it all for you as opposed to just teaching you. Okay, but my team does do a good job. The bottom line is, at this stage, is really, guys, it's the definition of commitment. What really is the definition of commitment? It's doing things that you said you were going to do long after the mood you said it in has left you. It's that simple, because it's easy to say, hey, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But then all the but and the ifs come along. Well, I'm going to do it after this. I'm going to do it after that. Well, but first I need to do this. I need to do that. And then you get out of that mood. And then it's easy to not do those things. But true commitment is doing those things even after you're not in that mood anymore, because you know they need to be done, because you want your goals. You want those outcomes so freaking bad. And that's what our mastermind is all about. Is we want to meet those conditions that you have for your success, and that is, we got to address those technical issues. Okay, well, great, they're addressed. I'm providing you all the software and all the tools that you need, so you don't have to worry and freak out and think, hey, what software does this? What software does that? Should I buy this? Should I buy that? Well, don't worry about it. I already got all the software that I want you to use. Okay. The only thing that we don't provide is you need either a CRM or an autoresponder for best results. You don't have to have one, but I do recommend every loan officer, whether you're participating with me or not, have at least an email autoresponder. But you know what? The one I recommend is $11. So you don't go out and buy anything expensive. $11. We remove the uncertainty. You have direct access to me through this mastermind, guys. You're going to access proven winning campaigns, including the twice monthly, pulling those detailed reports of the best ads in the country, constantly updated every other week. And most importantly, guys, you're learning a skill that will serve you and make you money for the rest of your career. This isn't just, hey, I'm going to pull a couple loans off of this and be done with it. No, this is something that's going to make you money for the entire rest of your career. Huge values, huge value. For those of you that just want, let's just finally just go out and start getting results already. That's what I've designed this for. But who's it not for? Well, guys, these masterminds aren't cheap. Okay? I'm giving up a huge chunk of my time. Right now when I do one-on-one coaching, heck, it's actually over $1,000 an hour for my time on a one-on-one basis. Right now it's averaging about $1,500 to $1,800 per hour one-on-one. This is way cheaper than that. Okay, because of the fact that I set it up as a small group, and I did that intentionally to bring that cost down, but it's still not. If you're looking for something bargain basement, saying, hey, I just want to throw a couple $100 at something and be done with it, this is not that. Throwing a couple $100 at solving such a monumental, huge challenge, because this is the biggest challenge for almost all loan officers that they will ever face, and that's how to get more business. That's the big question, because once you solve that, you can write your own ticket, right? If you become 100% self-sufficient. Because here's what I want for you. I want you to be able to generate leads on demand and turn around and leverage those leads to get more realtors so that you in turn get more referrals plus close deals off of the leads you're pulling in as well. That's what I want. I want you in the ultimate leveraged position. Okay, that's what I'm going to help you do. We have a couple different packages, so there's different price points as well, because I'm getting a ton of people asking, you know, what's the price? What's the price? Well, it depends on which package. Okay, and that's why I do the one-on-one. Is guys, I've moved away from just having some universal off-the-shelf package that I just apply to everyone. Because what I've learned is different loan officers have different challenges and different needs for my level of help. Some of you guys need a lot of my help. Some of you guys just need a little bit. You just need some little fine-tuning and tweaking. So I price accordingly. Okay, and that's why I do these one-on-ones, is so I can discuss with you and find out. Say, okay, well, it looks to me like you need this, you need that, you need that. So here's what it's going to cost. Or you might not need this, but you do need that. Okay, so we're going to do a custom package for you at this. Make sense? All right. So how many of you guys have scheduled an appointment, or how many of you guys want to talk to me versus how many of you guys are on the fence? Is there anybody that's on the fence and just kind of kicking around and just not sure if I can help you? Do we have any of those on the call? Versus how many of you guys, hell yeah, I'm scheduling that appointment. There's the link again. It's right here. Plus I put it in the chat box for you guys to click on. All right. If there's anybody that, okay, yes, yeah, not a problem, not a problem. I will update that phone number for you. Yeah, and if there's any uncertainties that you have, now would be the perfect time to ask. So while I'm waiting for those to come over, because I'm seeing a lot of them come over, so I'm just going to let those kind of fill up a bit so I can get to them. One of the questions I'm always asked is, well, what kind of leads can I hope to generate? Well, I don't care. I don't care if you want general purchase, FHA, VA, reverse, DPA programs, damaged credit, self-employed. We've worked with all the niches. The only niche out there, and it's not really a niche so much as just a type of loan that we don't do a lot with, is refi. We can still do it, but it's not something that we do a lot of. Okay, refi is a whole different world on Facebook versus purchase. So plus we are in a purchase market anyhow, so we tend to focus on purchase. Okay, Hank saying, okay, I'm not a current loan officer. Would you still be interested in helping me out? Yeah, Hank, just let me know what you're targeting and what you basically, I guess, what it is that you're doing and need help with, and I'd be happy to take a look at that for you. Okay. Okay, so Chad, I participated with a company doing Facebook ads called, okay, I'm not going to name the company. It all sounded fantastic, but turned out to be very expensive, and in 3 months I received a total of only 9 leads, and they were extremely poor quality. Okay, I'm very familiar with the company and the trainer you just mentioned, and yes, I do end up getting a lot of his old clients, and I hear the same complaint, and yes, I do have a solution, and I know what he's doing wrong. So I know how to fix that funnel that you're provided with from that trainer. Yes, absolutely. I get a lot of his clients. So that's not the first. Believe me, you're not the first one to tell me that. So yeah, I'd be happy to help you. All right. So, okay, Chad, I don't have a Facebook account set up yet. That's perfectly fine, Christopher. What we help you with, setting up your Facebook page that you'll deploy your ads from takes about 7 minutes total from start to finish. It's very quick and easy. Absolutely. So yeah, that's one of the first steps that we. It's, here comes a peer pressure. Who is it? Who's the company? Um, all right. So yeah, absolutely. Okay, Saul. Yeah, if you Saul, did you fill out the page? Just go to that link and fill it out, and I'd be happy to. Okay, perfect. So what I'll do is, unfortunately, guys, I still have another 12 appointments between today and tomorrow from Tuesday's webinar. So yeah, my days have been packed back to back to back to back to back conversations because I really do. I really do take this serious, and I try to talk to as many of you as possible. You know, it's not a show. I really do care, and I want to see if it's a good fit. And probably 60 to 70% of the people, and sometimes even more, I tell, you know, this is not, you're not ready for this just yet, but here's some things that I can recommend in the meantime. I don't offer a spot to just anybody because I do take this serious because I want to see happy clients. I want to see people who are a good fit and who I feel comfortable will implement and actually do the work and do it properly. So that's why I try to talk to as many of you as possible. So for most of you, I'll try to get you in. I may be able to squeeze in 2 or 3 appointments for Friday. If not, I'll probably be in Saturday morning just to get caught up with the phone calls. So I can either do a Saturday morning or Monday if I still have any slots left. Okay, so I will try to get to as many of you ASAP, I promise. Okay, if for whatever reason I cannot, it's nothing personal. It's just I'm going down the list as they're received, first come, first served. Okay. All right. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so I see more questions coming over. You guys want to see something really cool in the meantime? You guys want to see something really cool that I didn't show earlier? How many of you guys want to see something cool? Anybody? I'm going to show you something cool on Facebook. All right, so here we go. All right, obviously, yeah. All right, so I'm going to show you guys something here. I hinted at this earlier. I need to go back to my Facebook Ads Manager real quick. Now, don't show this to just anybody, so it feels special. Okay, so I'm back in my Ads Manager. So when you go into your Ads Manager, guys, within your dashboard, a lot of people ignore these little columns right here. See this one that says Performance and this one that says Breakdown? Watch the magic happen. When I click Breakdown, remember I talked about running your ads and pulling your metrics? Check it out. Time of day. When I click on time of day, it's going to show me what time of day each click came through. So remember I said you're going to identify what time of days your leads are coming in and notice the patterns so that you know when to turn your ads on and turn off. This is how you find out. Facebook gives you that information already. Here's something that most people have no clue you can even tweak that has a severe impact on how much you pay for your ads is the placement and device option. Guess what the placement and device option shows you? It shows you what mobile devices and what devices they use to access. And here's something funny. In most cities, Android devices are 1/3 the cost. The clicks that come from Android versus iPhone are 1/3 the cost. Not all of them. Sometimes the iPhones are cheaper than Android, but more often than not, what I found is that if I just shut down iPhone and just target people with Androids, my clicks get cut significantly, my costs. So that's something else really cool that you probably never would have guessed in a million years. Age and gender, I mean, look at all these different things that I can target, you know, where they're located and, you know, placement, DMA region, I mean, just all these options. And most people have no clue that these even exist. And most people will not even bother telling you that they exist. But I'm giving this information to you guys for free because I care. I want to see you get some better ads. All right? So I just thought I'd show you guys that because it's real quick, easy to make use of. Start using it when you run your ads. Okay? So pay attention. All right, so that's a freebie. I'm going to show some really ultra cool ninja stuff like that to the members. So if this is the free stuff I'm giving away, Wait till you see what you learn in the mastermind. Okay. So again, guys, I know a lot of people are asking how much is it. I'm just saying it's not cheap. It's not as expensive as coaching, one-on-one coaching. So it is still a huge, huge, huge bargain for what you're going to learn and the results you're going to get. Okay. All right, John, the number that I call from is a 636 number. Okay. Yeah, and Hank. Okay, so all right, so enter mortgage office. Yeah, so yeah, that is something that we can help with. Absolutely. All right. Okay, good deal, guys. All right, so we covered a lot here, and I thank you guys for sticking around, and I hope that you got in early for your request, make your submission, and I will again do my best to get back to you guys ASAP. And if I can, I will get a message sent out this evening. All right, letting you know what time frame we can connect. If not, then you will get one no later than tomorrow. So that's my guarantee to you, is that you will indeed get that update by tomorrow, no later than tomorrow. All right, awesome. Okay, guys, so we're going to wrap up here today. And again, I thank you guys for joining me this afternoon. I hope that you guys got some value and some good takeaways. All right. So thanks again for joining me, guys. Make it an awesome day. Bye now.